something similar to what we did last week, where we discussed something as my second takeaway, and I want to talk about. There's just not a way we don't talk about it. The Texas Georgia game and the pass interference call. I believe there's what about 2:40 left in the third quarter, roughly ish, when that went down. Just in case people have been living under a rock, defensive pass interference was called. An interception was taken off the board, not points, but the interception, and the ball was given back. Um, and the commentators made I think was a great point. We've talked about the relaxed, lighthearted Sarkeesian. We're kind of seeing, boy, that Sarkeesian was nowhere to be found when that call was made. That dude, rightfully so. I'm not even trying to be negative about it. Rightfully so, was losing his mind. There was not a hat, clipboard, or headset that was safe in that moment, and I don't blame him. Um, it was an unreal call. Um, in a land in Louisiana where we've seen pass interference calls have ugly effects on both the collegiate and the pro level, it still kind of blew my mind that call was even made. That the flag even came out of the referee's pocket, and I don't want to pile on. I don't want to pick on refs. We love our good friend David Neesmith, and that spent many years as a referee. So we don't want to pick on refs. And I would honestly say I think the SEC officials up until this week, because I don't think it was just this game, I think the SEC officials have had a pretty good year. There's been some glaring ones, but not a plethora, as has sometimes been the case. Thank you, plethora.
Nice word. Nice word.
But thank you. Um, so I don't want to just pick on the refs, but um, that was egregious. To use another word, I'll use my
Wow.
that was a shout out Dr. Harvey Floyd, Greek professor at Lipscomb, taught me egregious. Thank you, Dr. Floyd. that
Impressive.
that was that was overwhelmingly bad. And honestly, I think even to come back later, and I can't say word for word what Kirby Smart said, but he said something to the effect in one of his post game press conferences that or his post game press conference, that he was told that the referee maybe had called it on the wrong person. And he said, I don't want to say too much because I want to respect the SEC office, but he was told something to that extent. And in that moment, in that kind of game, I think to even call the offensive pass interference would have been a ridiculous call. I mean, yes, he extended his hand, he got into the jersey, but those two guys were making contact. Nobody was pulling the other guy down. Nobody's jersey was being yanked away from them. They were playing ball.
First, Darren, I agree completely with you. It was a horrible call, a bad call by the official.
Hmm.
Players make bad plays, officials make bad calls.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
happens. One of the things that we might need to discuss more, I believe Josh Pate brought this up recently, is that the accountability for college referees. This is not a full time position. These guys have other jobs. When a player makes a bad play, they're held accountable. A coach is held accountable. And you could argue that, well, referees are held accountable, but it takes place privately behind closed doors, whatever. It's just hard to stomach as a fan because what happens most of the time is in a case like this, they made a bad call, and then for some inexplicable reason, they reverse the call without the use of any kind of instant replay. It was not a reviewable call. So what makes them change their mind? Are they looking at the jumbotron, the big screen at the stadium? Do they just get together and say, come to think of it, guys, maybe I got that one wrong? If we open that door, where referees can immediately second guess themselves on a call, where does that door end and where does that or close? Where does that lead us? It's a nightmare scenario. I hope at some point, with the amount of money generated by college football, we can get full time officials who. Be, I get frustrated as a fan, Darren, because more often than not, something like this happens and the conference will come out and defend the officials and say, they come up with some explanation that has so many different nuances in it. You need to go ask a philosophy professor, what in the world did they just say? That was a horrible look for the SEC, a horrible look for officiating in the conference. Bad call to start off with. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Horrible
It
call.
it happens. I mean, like you said, like we both said, it's part of the game, unfortunately, but it's part of the
Yeah.
game.
To reverse the call, I don't understand that
No.
any way, shape, or form. The third element to this, Darren, that we need to bring up is the reaction of certain fans.
Yeah.
There were bottles of water thrown on the field. You ever thrown a bottle of water
Not
coming
on the
at a
field.
distance? We need a physics professor on here to tell us
Right.
exactly the damage that a bottle of water could do thrown from a certain distance at a certain
Yep.
speed when it makes contact. We've said this before, and unfortunate situations like this happen with fan bases. This is
Mhm.
not the majority of Texas Longhorn
Right.
fans.
Absolutely.
It is a small percentage. Yet, to use your word, Darren, it was so egregious.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
not the only one that's got a dictionary handy.
That's right.
The SEC has fined Texas, has threatened to revoke their liquor license if
Wow.
they do not get this under control. Texas is in the process or may have already identified the fans who threw that. And upon identification, what I have heard is they will not be allowed to attend any more games the rest of the season, which
Mhm.
is appropriate.
Absolutely.
But Darren, what do you think about that when we know the emotions? We
Mhm.
scream at the TV, we
Mhm.
throw our hats across the room, we kick something, we get frustrated. What do you think about when a situation escalates to that point?
Well, first of all, you've got to give props to Steve Sarkeesian because even in the heat of the moment, he reacted immediately and headed over to that section to tell people to chill.
Mhm.
So enormous, enormous respect for him for that, and I think you could see it have an effect on the moment. I think it really did kind of back things down a little bit and allow the cleanup to take place, and there, in theory, not be that long of a delay until we knew the call was going to be reversed and then have mercy. But in theory, it was progressing the game. So you got to give him props for that. But I struggle with that whole scenario because I think the immediate reaction is number one, it's not okay. We're not going to condone that action by any fan in any fan base. We're also not going to do the old baby out with the bathwater and condone the entire Texas fan base because that's not representative. They're an incredible fan base. It was a group of fans collective in the moment that made a bad decision, and like you said, the appropriate as they identify people, the appropriate um, what is the action will be taken. There we go. Uh, so, but there have been a lot of people talking about penalizing the team, and I struggle with that because the team didn't do anything. They're in the middle of a heated game. They've already had the situation happen at the moment. Again, we didn't know the call was going to be reversed, and so there's been what is potentially an altering moment to the game that's taking place, and now you're going to penalize the players on the field for something that they have absolutely no control over. I think the appropriate action is fining the school because the school can take future steps to try to maybe avoid stuff like that. So I'm completely, totally in favor of that. but I also think Kirby Smart, again, in his post-game press conference, made an incredible point of how scary this precedent is. So there's a call that you don't like. Hopefully, someone members of your fan base will throw things on the field to delay the game, and the referees will have time to reverse it. What a just strictly from player and personnel safety, what a horrible precedent. Because I mean, what's like you said, once we open that door, what's the next step? I mean, is it just going to be this rain of beer bottles and mustard bottles and water bottles and stuff we've seen thrown in the past on the field until the fan base is satisfied, until there's been a long enough a delay? To me, there's some pretty scary, and scary might be an overdramatic term, and I don't mean to do that, but some pretty unsettling pieces of this that I think have to really be long, hard looked at by the SEC office.
Agreed. And I believe that's happening this week.
Yeah,
So I think the SEC is very good. Sankey is excellent at
absolutely,
addressing issues immediately before they
absolutely.
can grow into something else. So I have full confidence this will be addressed. This is not, as you said, not indicative of the entire Texas Longhorn fan base. This is a small group of people that made a bad decision, and they will have
Hmm.
to suffer the consequences for that decision.
So we want to sum this up real quick. Horrible. Oh, here, egregious call. How's that? We'll use egregious. Egregious call that they should not have overturned because it's non-reviewable. Horrible Pandora's box that's been opened there, and no matter how upset you are, don't throw stuff on the field. Don't be silly. Is that our three? Is that our 3 points?
Perfect.
Awesome. All right.
E-
So what's your
Excellent, excellent summation.